It's a thing.
So there'll be a spoiler or a content warning on this one because once again we have a bunch of reproductive horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately become more relevant than it was when it aired, I think.
America. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. This wouldn't make fun of an intro. We'll have to come up with something to make it a fun.
Reproductive violence is not a good outtake?
That you don't want to lead with that one? I mean, I would think that'd be the perfect thing for people just to jump in on immediately.
I'm leading with
cue
this.
The music.
Hi, friends.
Howdy, y'all.
Hello.
And welcome to Muppet Sex and Drama. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Fat Culture Critic videos on YouTube.
I'm Josh Gosdin, and I'm a big nerd.
And with us today is another big nerd.
I am Vera Wylde. I do way too much stuff. For the big nerd stuff, just look for Council of Geeks, and you will find way too much stuff.
There's also some fun, spicy, naughty stuff, but we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, we'll save that one. We'll tease you with that one.
There it is.
Oh no!
I know my business.
You turn to try that voice on us, we'll get scared. So we're here today to talk about fetal attraction.
Speaking of,
yes, diseases, lockdowns, reproductive shit against people's consent. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. It's so far-fetched. Like it's so bizarre, the ideas they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not at all grounded in anything.
We're So Screwed Part 1 Fetal Attraction was written by David Peckinpah and directed by Jeff Bennett. Crichton and the crew are preparing to launch a rescue mission to retrieve Aeryn from the Scarran. Believing she is being held at a base called Katratzi, they must first stop at a space station to be inspected for approval to enter Scarran space. The Moya crew have planned ahead, and Sakozu has gone on and is making friends with the other Kalish at the station. Scorpius is playing a Scarran spy, with John, Chiana, and Rigel as his informants. Granny and Dargo are holding back in reserve on Lola in case they are needed. As luck would have it, the freighter carrying Aeryn is docked at the same base. But its inspection is almost done, and if they don't act fast, they'll lose the best opportunity they may ever have to save her. Don't worry, Rigel has a plan. And it's a Rigel plan, so it's vomit. Lots and lots of vomit. He tells Triso, the chief medical officer of the station, that it's nothing. It just reminds him of a previous bout of dermaphilica. He had a disease that, almost killed him and killed several of his wives. But it's dormant, it should be fine. Triso, showing more sense than a Kennedy, is immediately cautious and locks down the station. No one is going anywhere, including the freighter carrying Aeryn. While the station is in disarray, Sakozu offers some helpful suggestions to her friend, the assistant administrator. How about looking for some local healers with knowledge of dermaphilica? Local healers, you say? How about a chaotic three-eyed old herbalist with a Luxon bodyguard? Okay, this might buy them the time John needs to rescue Aeryn. Except Rigel isn't showing any other symptoms, so Triso wants to release the lockdown. Don't worry, Granny has a plan. Make Rigel actually sick with the disease. It might kill him, it might even kill Aeryn, it might kill everyone. Well, everyone but Chiana. She's immune. But it should give them the time they need. Now John has a plan. He grabs a fake cure and attempts to bribe the nurse on Aeryn's freighter by pretending he's after sex with a Sebastian girl. Once in the lab, he knocks her out and tries to free Aeryn, but is caught in the act. Some bluffing and bluster from him and Scorpius get him out of that, but Aeryn is still held captive. Meanwhile, Granny has a cure for Rigel, but not for anyone else, and not before 2 other people have succumbed to the disease, including the nurse. The freighter captain is determined not to risk losing Aeryn's baby. So he decides to transplant the fetus into the only woman immune from the disease, Chiana, kidnapping her and Granny to perform the procedure. Don't worry, Sakozu has a plan. She'll knock out the station systems long enough for John to rescue everyone, while Scorpius distracts the freighter captain. And for once, this plan works pretty well. Aeryn is safe, the crew is away and unharmed, and there's only one loss. Scorpius is stuck with the freighter captain. Oh well, no one will miss him. Okay, Sikozu, but no one important. Except enter Harvey. Back from the dead and upgraded by Scorpius, he's back in John's head, and according to him, Scorpius knows everything you do, John. Everything about wormholes. And he's in the hands of the Scaran. Well, shit.
I love that description. The cascading. Oh, don't worry. That someone else has a plan. I have a hard time thinking of a better summation of Farscape other than don't worry, someone has a plan. Something goes wrong. Don't worry, someone else has a plan.
And it involves vomit. And seducing people.
Yes. Yes.
Wouldn't be a good plan if it didn't.
Show.
This is the worst part is that this is probably their best plan of the show.
Yes,
this is probably their most effective. Yeah.
In our watch through, Josh was like, "Hey, they're getting better at plans. This is
They are.
They
The bar
still
was
don't
low.
The bar is
but the plans are better. They still fail, but they don't fail because the plans are bad anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's progress.
So, Vera, initial thoughts?
You know how hard it was for me not to burn through the other two parts of this three-parter like immediately.
Same.
Same.
God, I love this show so much. I love its energy. I love that it never just stops being weird and raggedy. And like the crew, like they get along, but it never coalesces into a cohesive unit. It never ever. It's always a crew of walking disasters.
Come now, surely they're gonna coalesce in the last 3 episodes.
Oh, I'm sure. No problem. Oddly, I'd actually say that this episode's probably one of the better showings of for Naranti, aka Granny.
Yeah,
Thank you.
When she first showed up, I think it was at the start of this season.
the end of last.
Yeah, end of last, start of this season. She had a rough start on the show, and
yeah,
it also took them a while. It took the writers a while to get over the she's old and actually has a sexual nature to her. Isn't that funny? Like, no, it's not. Actually, that's not funny. That's not a source of humor. Once they got that out of their system, they started actually doing decent stuff with her. And I'd say this is definitely one of her better showings, because while she is kind of doing something she's done before, which is fixing a problem she caused, at the very least, she did kind of cause that problem on purpose. Like, she made a snap decision without consulting anyone, because why would she? She never does. But she goes in knowing the risks and knowing the hazards, but still deciding this is our best option. And then towards the end, she has a scene with Rigel, very confronting the fact that, yes, we saved Aeryn. Yes, we did the stuff. But 2 people died because I unleashed a disease on that ship. And it also gives Rigel one of his occasional sweet moments, saying, when I was Dominar, I would make decisions that would get sometimes people who did nothing wrong killed. And that is a thing that happens. And he doesn't hand wave that. He's not like you always break some eggs. He's like, no, that's part of what sucks about making decisions.
Yeah, I love that moment.
I think this is one of the few times we've sat with Naranti and the consequences of her actions.
This is the first time we've sat with Naranti and the consequences of her actions.
She is just kind of a chaos factory for a lot of the time, and in a way that makes you wonder, why do they not drop her off on a planet and run? Like, that's kind of the main problem with her presence, is there isn't a lot of justification for why they do not ditch her at the first opportunity.
Except they don't ditch anyone, because they are the most trauma bonded people. Like, why don't they ditch Sikozu? Why don't they ditch Scorpius?
Sikozu's actually helpful on occasion.
He's actually useful. Yeah, I was good. Took words right out of my mouth. Like, Vera, I'm right there with you. Naranti has been bothering me from day one.
Yeah,
in a different way than Stark. Sara remembers that Stark drove me crazy for about the first half of his time on the show, mostly because he never seemed to contribute to anything other than like mad ramblings. But Noranti like actively contributes bad things.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Stark was, while occasionally a problem, if you didn't gel with his energy, he was largely an annoyance. She's a hazard.
Right.
So, and like what the
maybe
thing
nobody
was,
wants to do the cooking.
Yeah.
Vera, I'm so glad you're here. I feel so validated right now.
Until the last time I rewatched it, I didn't realize what else I'd seen this actress in. Because the other main thing I know her from, which to me proves that like the actress is not the problem.
The actress is great.
Well, have you folks seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Oh yes.
I have not.
She is the old member of the badass biker ladies at the tail end, the one who like talks about like the bag of seed and the bag of anti-seed and how, you know, she would just snap people without question. And that's her. And she only has a couple of scenes in that, but she's incredibly memorable and she's got great presence. And it does take basically until this point of the show for them to realize what they have to actually start making good use of her as a performer. And it is a shame that it took this long, but it is nice that it finally freaking happened.
Oh, her scene with Rigel was very affecting.
Yeah. She's also in a previous episode of Farscape in the one where Dargo gets it on with the other with the woman who the DH.
Oh God, I hate that.
She's yeah, it's a mess. Yeah, the one where we get to discuss Dargo nipples tasting. It's a weird episode.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
She's the old version of that character.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, like they actually have really good use of her in this, and other than that, it is largely just a cascading of okay, new plan. Okay, new plan. Okay, new plan.
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you on Noranti. I like, and we've discussed it too, Sara. Like a lot of her seemingly like, I don't know, it was billed as kind of like almost comedically innocent, but was really non-consensually drugging people around her. For what she felt was their betterment, was just wildly difficult to to like empathize, sympathize, come along with as a character, where she is being presented to the audience as one of the good guys, you know, and good guys I use very loosely because obviously everybody's on their own spectrum of lawful and good here, but like she is one of the protagonists that we're supposed to root for. And it's been difficult to root for her until this episode.
I feel like the initial concept they had for her is what if we tried to bring back sort of the vaguely spiritual Zan vibes, but made it wacky.
Yeah, that's accurate. I like that. So that being said, Noranti and Rigel's scene at the end of the episode was fantastic. I loved it because it finally gave me something to root for. It finally gave me something to latch onto with this character. And we've got 3 episodes left in the show. So
and a miniseries.
And a miniseries.
Yes, and a miniseries.
Well, then it's fine.
Yes, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah. But other than that, and I mean, not even other than that, because that was something I liked. I loved this episode. This episode was so much fun. I was gamely sing-songing to Sara while we were doing our rewatch, like, hey, things are finally going all right for everybody, right before everything went to hell.
Like, that's welcome to the show.
Yeah, they got me.
That's
really
good
did.
Writing, I think. That was a nice twist where you know that usually stories run on plans going to shit. And yet you and if it can fool you into thinking it's actually going to work, then yeah, that's kind of fun writing.
Well, there's like a hot minute where you think, okay, this is going to work, and then it's going to be like they're on the run. That's what happens. Oh no, it's just not going to work. Damn. Okay.
Well, the writers also do a really good job, especially with their three-parters of um like they'll set up a goal or a MacGuffin or a quest or whatever for the characters. That's it's like, all right, so we're gonna really dig into this, and it's gonna be this epic kind of no, it gets wrapped up by the end of Act 4 of the first episode, and then the writers move the goalpost.
Hmm.
Like it's going from Shakespearean court drama to oh no, John is a statue now, and like it's the same kind of thing as they did in this episode.
It's kind of funny. I can't think of too many other shows that made a regular habit out of three-part stories besides Farscape. And it's a structure that actually works quite well because the standard issue, like, I'm not going to say there's no such thing as a good two-part episode. Some of my favorite Doctor Who things are two-parters. But the standard problem with two-parters is you have one episode that's all setup and one
Mhm.
episode that's all payoff. But when you have to do it in three parts, it's like you have no choice but to spread this out further because
Yeah.
you can't just front load setup and then go because you've got 2 episodes worth of stuff after this. So you actually have to pace it out more, and it structures really well. It makes me wonder if like that's just something that this particular writing staff was real good at, or if it's something more shows should try.
The thing about Farscape is it's always it's very much seat of the pants writing. So they didn't plan to do three-parters and figure out how to do them. They planned the first one was them trying to do a two-parter and just realizing there was too much story.
Bless them for it.
So yeah, I think this is what I love about Farscape in writing is that they always follow where the story leads, which comes out of them being frustrated Star Trek writers who didn't want any hard resets or the no consequences. They were like, no, we're gonna deal with the consequences of shit. We're gonna follow the story. We're gonna follow the drama.
My go-to example of that in the show overall is how long they kept around the clone of Crichton.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
like that is a
And it
story
was so good.
that is a story that so many shows, including Star Trek in specific, do as a one shot. And like, well, that's it. We'll resolve this by the end, and it won't be a thing going forward. Like, oh no, let's play out this consequence for half a season. The show ultimately, while it is getting a little bit more serial towards the tail end, it is still ultimately an episodic show. But like, they absolutely do roll over consequences of stuff. And like, that was kind of my initial hook in. Was I started watching
Yeah.
when I was in college and season 2 was on, and when I realized that I was watching the main character slowly lose his mind a little more every episode, I was like, okay, you have my attention.
hmm It was becoming more and more prevalent on American television around this time. This is the era of Buffy. This is the era of what early Sopranos had already premiered by this point. And even Star Trek was like Star Trek Enterprise was airing at this time, and they took a hard left into serialized storytelling for their last 2 seasons. So like it's the timing, and it's also the like somebody's got to do it first, somebody's got to do it bad, and then somebody's got to do it better. And Farscape has managed to do all three.
Yeah.
The fact that they took risks is what gives us such great story, but it's also why they got canned for their 5th season is it's just the suits never appreciate what they have, and things were complicated with the purchase of the Jim Henson company as well.
Yeah.
And so it just got complicated, but at least they were able to give us the concluding miniseries that we will watch. But like, you can see that they had ideas that could have continued on to a 5th season.
I know there's other stuff. Actually, okay. I was gonna jump to something else. I think maybe I want to save that for like a fun palate cleanser. So maybe we tackle the reproductive horror first.
I love when other
Reproductive violence
podcasters
time.
come up and like know how to move the thing to the next thing. Yes. Spoiler, folks, or content warning, folks. We're going to talk about the reproductive horror. Okay.
Yeah, the fact that I had to sit there and realize in general, with what has gone on, especially in the US, and in particular, some things that have literally made headlines this last year,
Yep.
how terrifyingly relevant a situation where a male authority figure literally says, I don't care if she dies, I only care about the fetus.
Yep.
Ah,
That one hit hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As he pretty much spells it out, you are a vessel for this other thing that I care about, and you are not a person,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned. Like, God damn. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really fascinating thing that we get two versions of fascism that get to give us a real exploration of all the sides of fascism and all the different variations of eugenics. And there is nothing so nakedly, bluntly, on the table as I don't care if she lives or dies, just the fetus.
Yeah.
Because that is what any of us that the eugenicists perceive as women. And it's very much who they perceive as women. All they give a crap about is our reproductive potential. I am no longer useful because my reproductive potential is ending. And I was never what they wanted genes carrying forward anyway. And like my actually I don't know if either of you know this, but my father was a gynecologist.
Oh.
And my sister is as well. So and growing up in my city, my dad was the one who did terminations. And that was in the 90s. And we had to deal with protesters at the house because they like to protest at doctors who have kids. And we had to deal with I've dealt my whole life with people saying that my dad's a murderer. And with, like had to have a termination explained to me entirely too young.
Yeah.
And my sister has had to be driven to work in an armored car because she worked for a time with someone who lost a leg to a terrorist. And there was a time when we feared every November because there was a guy running around who would shoot abortion doctors every November. So this, even though I have never had, inshallah, I have never had to have a termination. The politics of it have been a part of my life for as long as as long as I have known how babies were made. And it is not all pro-lifers are purely pro-fetus, but a lot of them are. They don't care about life. They don't care about the child as an actual human person. They care that the fetus is born.
Yeah. And, it's worth noting that this Scarron doesn't care about, the only reason he wants the fetus to live is because he thinks there is information he can glean from its DNA.
Yep.
So he doesn't even really want this thing to be alive. He just needs it around long enough to get what he wants out of it.
Which is also very in line with current politics in the United States.
Yeah.
I want your genetic material, not you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very much.
After you're born, you can get shot. It's fine.
Yeah. There's a couple things that's interesting. I'm going to touch on one thing that you brought up real quick, and then I'll get to something more immediately relevant. One of the things that I do appreciate about the show is, we deal with the peacekeepers for a long time, and then the Scarrons get brought in, and I really appreciate the way in which they were able to give two flavors of fascism that were still distinct from each other. Instead of flattening fascism into just one thing. It's like, oh, no. It comes in varieties. It's not only one thing. Did you know we could have given you an even worse version? Like, by no means redeeming the peacekeepers, but it can be worse. Want to see? So I that's one of the things I just appreciated about the show as a whole. But another thing in terms of like giving multiple sides of it, in terms of the reproductive horror, this also gives two sides to that because you have Aeryn, who the Scarran is more than willing to let die if he can recover the fetus. And then you have Chiana being given no choice in having a fetus implanted into her and being a walking incubator.
Yep.
Ah, wow.
And Granny being given no choice but to do the procedure. She tries so hard to not.
She tries hard to not. They won't even let her anesthetize Aeryn because they care that little about Aeryn. Like she goes to help ease her pain and they stop her.
Mm-hmm. It's really impressive for written by men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it is possible that like they kind of stumbled into this, and like I'm not trying to remove credit, but I just, you know, as someone who in my growing up there's a whole bunch of feminine experiences I did not have growing up. But I have definitely, as a writer, accidentally stumbled into stuff where people like, I really like your insight into this. I was like, oh shit. I just kind of did that. I didn't realize it was that good.
If you follow the truth of the story and the truth of the character, then you often find other truths along the way.
Yeah, it can happen. It's actually very cool when it can happen.
With Farscape, as we've praised before, like a lot of it is because that Claudia Black has had so much input into these characters.
Yeah.
And so the writers listen and we get, but
and she's clearly like get in there giving it her all. Like when the 4 tubes snapped into her, like golly, that was a horrifying moment. And it was extra horrifying and it was extra impactful because you could tell that Claudia Black was doing her damnedest to convey all that. So like once again, huge props to the actress.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's absolutely fantastic in this. I think like everybody is excellent in their parts in this. I think she is one of the most skilled actors on the show. Because I do make a distinction between somebody who is perfectly cast and someone who is a really good actor. Those are slightly different, but I think she is an excellent actor. There are a few others on here, but I think everyone is excellently cast. But in terms of just skill as an actor, I think she's one of the best on the show.
I think that Gigi Edgley also, her skill especially is in physical acting. Like she just has a knowledge of how to move her body, like, and the way that she, like, when she's trying to resist, there is such a viscerality in that like we often praise line delivery and emoting, but you know it is also a skill to be able to, you know, sell with your movement. And she has a gift for that.
She is incredibly good at that. And I remember seeing a behind the scenes thing that like she wasn't really given direction to, because with how much, you know, Chiana moves and the ways that she moves, she wasn't really given direction to do that. She just started doing it. Which is why when she first shows up, none of the other people of her same species are doing that. Like it's not a trait of the species. That's just her. But like she is really good at it. She's the only cast member who I've gotten to meet in person.
No kidding.
Oh.
Yeah, she was at it's one of those. She was at Gallifrey 1 year where I went, and she's never been on Doctor Who. But you know, people in a niche sci-fi show will show up at conventions for another niche sci-fi show and have a pretty safe bet some of their fans will be there. But yeah, I got to meet her and she signed one of my DVD box sets, and yeah, no, she was
cool.
She was delightful. She was really sweet, and she just seemed really. She seemed not like Chiana in personality, but she seemed like somebody who had as much energy as you would expect Chiana to need.
Yeah, she's known for good interactions with fans. She worked with the podcast So Farscape a few times.
Nice.
Yeah. She seems like a genuine awesome person, as well as being very talented. And I'm surprised Doctor Who hasn't locked her in.
I think the only reason is she's on the wrong island. Like she's Australian. Doctor Who films in the UK.
Yeah.
It's about as other side of the world as you can get.
Yeah, pretty close.
But I also I think we should shout out the actor who played the Captain Janek, who was supposed to only be for the last episode. Like they saw how good he was and like right away started expanding his character. Which the actor is Sandy Gore. And yeah,
he performs through the prosthetics and the mask really well, which they needed for the Scarens. Like, there's a reason they moved away from like the horse face, largely animatronic look that they kind of started with, because that was that. I remember when we got around to when I did the rewatch with Jesse. And we got around to what is personally my favorite episode of the whole show, which is Won't Get Fooled Again. And the way they shot the Scarren in that, which is mostly in shadow, usually facing away from the camera when he's talking. If he says anything and the camera can see his mouth, it's like 1 or 2 word sentences. And we both went like, why didn't they shoot the first Scarren that they introduced like this? Why did they put him in broad daylight and have him face the camera all the time? God, it
full dinosaur.
Bad. Yeah,
you showed the shark too early.
They've moved away from that, and they've got this much more angular thing that you can actually see a performance through now.
If you ever get the chance to watch the audio commentary on Jeremiah Crichton, the one that is like one of the worst episodes of the entire run,
it ain't great.
They have the audio commentary is them talking about how bad it went, and like talking about some of the other episodes where things have gone bad and how they've learned like not to show things in full, and not, they're like, you gotta love people who are writers and creatives who are just like, yeah, we fucked that up, and we fucked this up, and we're gonna try.
Well, like the thing is the fact. Okay, so minor tangent. I do these a lot. ADHD, can you tell? I don't really listen to director or creator commentaries anymore, or at least on anything new. I stopped in the mid 2000s because I used to love creator commentaries when DVDs first started really being a thing in the early 2000s, because that was the point where like all these old classics were being done, and they were, bringing the directors back to talk about these things. And some of them weren't very good at it, but some of them were really great about it. But, there was this sense of hindsight, and like they could acknowledge like, yeah, that we didn't mean to do that. We tried to do this or whatever. But where they started sucking was right at the tail end of the 2000s, where creating a director commentary became part of the production pipeline. So that they were recording these things before the thing was even released to theaters or aired on television. They had already recorded commentary. So they didn't know if the audience even liked it. They were literally still in the middle of working on it. So if something went wrong, they couldn't say anything. Like they're going to get in trouble with the money people if they do. And I remember there were two specific commentary tracks that made me realize how bad it was. One was for J.J. Abrams's Star Trek, the first one, where I think I got about 20 minutes into that, and he's just like listing names of effects people, and he's just glazing everybody. And it's like, and that team's great. And actually, like, you're literally still working with these people. They're probably down the hall right now. And so like that felt freaking useless. And then the other one was of all things, I listened to the commentary on the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie, the first one. And I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yep.
But the point at which I realized they need to stop recording these things at the time they make this movie is they get to the very end, and the defeat of the villain is this. Okay, first of all, it's Wes Bentley being both deeply unintimidating and I think also on a lot of downer drugs at the time. You can kind of tell. And the way he's defeated, it's just like this very bad layered montage, and it's just a bunch of his head isolated being like, ah, and it's just bad. It's terrible. And I'm listening to the director and the writers talk about how good it is and what a great job Wes did. I'm like, oh, the thing is, I don't believe you that you don't know it's bad, but you also haven't seen that everyone's going to call you on it, so you don't realize you can't get away with saying it isn't bad. So,
Now,
so,
this one is
so
worth listening to because it is them reckoning with, yep, we done fucked up. Which is what audio commentators are for, in my mind.
Yeah, that's always the best stuff. I have found in general that, and they don't do them often enough. You get them on TV more though. I like writers' commentaries best, I find, because a lot of directors' commentaries get bogged down in the technicals of filming, which I don't care enough about. And then actors are, just talking about what it was like the day on the set, which is cute, but I don't care that much about. I care about the narrative and the storytelling, and writers will actually talk about that.
Yeah, but in this one, they go through like some of the Muppets that they think particularly didn't work out, and like when lighting, and yeah, it's worth being sensible about your mistakes.
Yeah,
and having a sense of humor about it, and I think the horse face Scarens still exist and are still around, but I think it's the fact that they recognized they needed to make changes. I think kind of adds to one of the interesting things about the Scarens is the way that they interbreed to try and like that they seem to be like, we get a little more in the next two-parter about where like some of that comes from, but like the idea of like hybridization is a thing they do, which I think comes partly from the faces needing to change, and also from what they did to Scorpius.
Yeah. Which, boy, that was all fascinating stuff too. But, yeah, it is always interesting to me because like I don't disagree that Jeremiah Crichton's one of the worst episodes, but then also when I think about it, I'm like, that's actually a pretty high bar for a worst. Like if you were to put that against the worst from a lot of other shows, you'd be like, really? That's as bad as it gets? Oh, that's still watchable.
Yeah, I think we established that our verdict on the worst is the cross-dressing. All transphobia.
Yeah, that one is much more painful than Jeremiah Crichton.
Oops, all misogyny.
Yeah. But there is just, I think in general, I think it's very telling about this show that the floor is actually pretty high.
Yeah. The floor is generally high, and at least there aren't many boring episodes.
No,
that's true.
No, I mean that's one of the nice things about taking big swings. When you fail interestingly.
Yes. Please give me an interesting failure over a perfect nothing. Although maybe not a racist, or I recognize that in having just talked about Strange New Worlds, like there are some times that interesting failures are the wrong kind of interesting failure.
Yeah,
there are gradations, there's asterisks, but in general, I tend to agree with you.
Nothing is ever always. There will always be exceptions.
I'd much rather watch amazing or interesting or engrossing ideas poorly executed than boring and safe, perfectly executed.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, I'm inclined to agree. Well, we sort of naturally moved off of the heavy topic, anyways. But
yes, you're right. And since we're talking about Janek, let's talk about that fabulous chemistry between him and Scorpius.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I love about this episode.
Like honestly, Scorpius has great chemistry with everybody he ever shares. This Wayne Pygram is it's a shame he has not done more, and it's not because like he can't get work. Actually, he teaches mostly. He like became an acting instructor. So like he doesn't actually doing the work isn't his primary form of income, but God, he's so good.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Yep, with everybody, absolutely. And yeah, these two are just a hair's breadth away from going at it on the floor.
It's like it's not enough to just be growling at each other. They need to be leaning in about this far apart and growling at each other.
And the framing, even at one point, he throws Scorpius down on the desk, and it's like, okay, you're just.
It's not just that he throws him down. He throws him down on the desk, and Scorpius bends over at the waist with his rear end pointing at this guy. It's like, on.
The subtext is rapidly becoming text.
What is the title for this 3-parter again?
We're so screwed. Yeah, no, I love that they found someone as to match him. I mean, actually, everybody he's played with has matched him quite well in different ways. You know, we have Brana, the subby of all subs. We have Sikozu, who gives new meaning to the word wet look. And now we have Mr. I don't know, the guy who's trying to dom the dom.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Other people have matched him in terms of like meeting him where he's at. I don't think anyone else has matched him by bringing the same energy he has.
Yeah, it's get you a villain who's properly polyamorous so you can have fucked up chemistry on all different kinds. Oh, there's also Natira, Spider Lady.
We can't forget her.
No,
who gave us an actual sex scene.
Yeah, not even with mind bleach. You will never forget.
There's a comedian named Roy Wood Jr. who did a stand-up routine that I think about from time to time that I think applies to this episode and what we've been talking about. I'm going to steer back towards the reproductive violence briefly. That like in order to effectively tell a story about some of the most horrifying elements of our various cultures and societies, you need actors who are willing to play some heinous characters. And like there's a special type of allyship in that. And in his stand-up routine, he's specifically talking about Django Unchained and Leonardo DiCaprio, but like the Sebastian collaborating nurse, the actor who played the Scaran with the amazing chemistry with Scorpius, like you got to have folks who are willing to portray that awfulness in order to tell this kind of a story. And I think that also deserves some kind of shout out as well, in addition to Claudia Black and Gigi Edgley.
Yes, let's talk about Nurse Schlafly. I was going either Bryant or Schlafly with that, but the person nobody misses.
I did like her performance a lot because she's just very cold.
She's beaten down. She's broken.
Yeah, which is just such an interesting energy to give to what is ostensibly a caregiver.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly.
Yes, on paper.
Yeah.
A very Nurse Ratchety kind of caretaker, but I stand by Nurse Schlafly. she is collaborator par extraordinaire.
Yep. Yes, she is. But yeah, no, I remember finding her, and I found her again now, deliciously hateable.
Yes.
Yes.
Because she's this close. Her character, I can empathize with her character, but she's this close to being sympathetic. And then she goes back to being utterly heinous.
Yeah.
Like she has multiple opportunities where she can do better, and she doesn't take them. And Sara and I had talked about this a little bit last time with the previous episode, that like there is a certain consequence of fascism that breeds a collaborator, and that is when the collaborator themselves also buys into the narrative that power is what matters. And so if they believe that power is what matters and they are powerless, they have no hope.
Yeah.
And that's how you get this character. That's the formula for this kind of a collaborator. Somebody who has been so broken by the system that she is so invested in.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what I was referring to by calling her Nurse Schlafly, Phyllis Schlafly is infamously one of the most deep betrayers of women. She kind of organized a lot of the religious right. Specifically, she organized against to stop the ERA. And
she waged a infuriatingly successful one-woman war against the Equal Rights Amendment.
And there is an excellent limited series with Cate Blanchett playing her essentially as a villain origin story, which called Mrs. America, that I highly recommend. If, unlike Vera, you actually have time to watch things for fun.
Yeah,
once again, actors willing to do heinous shit.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's just somebody who will align themselves with power, debase themselves entirely, to try and survive and try and like a remora fish with a shark, just trying to get
just determined, like has gone all in on being quote unquote one of the good ones in the eyes of those in power.
Yeah. Like I think there's a number of people we could list.
Yeah. More than I would care for.
But yes, Schlafly's dead, so she can't sue us.
Bullet dodge there.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
So we talked a lot with Aeryn last time about that collaborator role, but she does get her comeuppance, and nobody was sad.
No. Barely anybody noticed. It was basically like, oh, we have one less person to help with this horrifying procedure we want to do. Get that body out of here, please.
Mm-hmm.
But her and John's sort of negotiation, fake flirting was fascinating, because I don't think she for a moment was actually intending to bone him. She was just trying to get like one or the other of them was going to knock the other out at some point to try and get the fake treatment. But them both pretending to try and seduce the other was entertaining. I mean, I wish it didn't rely on the hot man trying to seduce a quote unquote ugly woman, but it's not the worst by far. Far from the worst of that sort of.
Yeah, like especially because that is strictly a visual designation within this. Mm-hmm. Like there's never a bit made out of that. Like he's never like, oh God, no, I have to pretend I have to. Like they never do anything with that. It's just a fact of the presentation of these characters. Ben Browder is a traditionally handsome man, and they have done no glamorizing makeup whatsoever on this woman, and she's a little older. So like there's this visual signifiers, but the story doesn't lean into that concept at all. Yeah.
It's not like we've done that the lava episode. Yeah, but it's I enjoy that they have a particular kind of chemistry in the faking of chemistry that is just kind of a neat little twist.
Yeah, it is that, like, even if you were to take the fact that they were both probably intending to knock the other one out off the table, like the entire presentation of this is not ideal for either of us, but it's the best we've got. So I guess that's what we're doing now, is kind of the energy on both their parts.
Yeah. You're here, so we might as well. It's the Mount Everest reason for having sex.
Any hole's a goal.
Yeah, like Crichton's whole thing is like, I don't want someone who isn't Sebastian, and that's literally the only criteria he puts forward. And from her end, it's like, it'll get me a preventative for this disease. Okay, fine. Like if they'd actually, if either of their cover stories were true and they had actually done this, it would have been the most mechanical, checked out sex in history.
Yeah.
The most heterosexual encounter on Farscape.
Yes, by far. Even the straight couples are gay on this show, and I freaking love it.
There are no straight couples, only opposite sex couples in this show.
Yes, accurate. Very accurate. I love that. But the thing that I was saving and set aside, my boy's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Harvey is my single favorite thing about Like, I love so much about Farscape. Harvey is my favorite thing about Farscape. And he is also the thing that I point to as like, okay, look, there's a lot of stuff that is unique about this show in terms of concepts, in terms of execution. You know, we've got the creature shop really firing on all cylinders with the aliens. We've got these out there concepts, but I'm like, I can go to other shows and get some interesting aliens, get some wacky concepts. I can't find Harvey anywhere else because I've seen other shows where heroes have like hallucinations of the villain, or even where there is literally another character inside their head. I'm watching a show that does that right now with Battlestar Galactica with the reboot of that, but nobody does it the way Farscape does it. Nobody would have the audacity to do something like Harvey, and I love him so much.
Yeah, I really can't see Head 6 popping up in vampire drag and playing with their fingernails.
No, it's it's so good because it's so everything about Harvey is so good because it's so grounded in John's character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's a clone of Scorpius, but he's in John's head. And so everything that about how John perceives Harvey is based on how John grew up, on his pop culture influences, and on just like how he sees and perceives the world. And that's such delicious writing.
It's so great. Like whenever the decision was made to like, okay, we're not just going to have him act like, we're going to have him be more and more influenced by the fact that he's in this specific guy's head. Whenever they made that decision, I want to kiss the entire writer's room. Like,
It's like Scorpius and John had a mind baby.
I know. Yeah. And he's a dick, and it's great.
And the format of the episode and the flavor of that writing, it tricked me. It got me. Mm-hmm. So in the final episode, or in the final scene of the episode, obviously everything's going on just a little bit too long. Everything's just a little bit too good. This is only part one. And then the slow zoom in on John and Aeryn, and then finally just John, and then he jolts and he has his like flashback. I immediately in my head I was like, "Oh shit, is Harvey back?" And then it did Nosferatu, and I was like, "Okay, so it's not Harvey. What is this?" And then Harvey pops up, and I'm like, "Oh, it is Harvey." Like, it got me. It worked on me.
Well, it is also the bringing back Harvey in this moment is the perfect answer to the question that gets us to even having more parts. Because in theory, like, what did they leave behind? Scorpius. Oh no.
Oh no.
What a loss. Whatever will we do without the guy we all hate?
Yeah, right.
So like, but narratively, like the most dramatic thing that you could have them do is have to go back and rescue him. How the hell do you do that? Ha ha. This is the perfect, because like, I have no doubt the conundrum was, okay, well, we have to give them a reason to go back and rescue Scorpius, because that's like what the juicy stuff would be. How the hell do you justify that? This is exactly how you justify that. It is such a good solution to that question.
Yeah.
And just having him there, in the black and white with the long nails, and he's clicking them all together. And John keeps slamming the coffin closed, trying to shut him up. It's, Harvey just makes my entire soul happy. I love him so much.
There's a little bit of behind the scenes fact that I found really, really funny. They were going to just fill the place with candles, and they did. They just totally filled the space with candles, and then the crew started asphyxiating, and they had to put a bunch of them out. Like, that's how extra they were going.
Appropriate.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
I have my Harvey as my co-pilot mug.
Yay!
Of course, in the Hawaiian shirt, his most classic look.
Yes.
Like that is my shorthand for what I love about Harvey. Okay, like, all right. So the show has established like this really scary, really intimidating villain, and a version of him shows up in the main character's head in a Hawaiian shirt saying, "Go ahead and kill her. Then we'll have pizza and margarita shooters."
And the fact that that was a filler episode.
Yeah.
they just hadn't finished the sets for the next episode, and so they wrote that on the fly. And then, this is the advantage of by the seat of your pants writing, that they can develop that into everything that is just.
Mhm.
I fucking love Harvey. And
Yeah, I'm real excited that he's
this is
back.
not Harvey. This is Harvey 2.0.
Oh.
We have an upgraded Harvey with a link to Scorpius to tell him everything he knows.
Yep. And like, because you had to bring Harvey back. Like, that's actually one of the other things I really like about, as much as I love him, I think they used him the exact right amount, because he would be very easy to overuse and run into the ground. They were actually shockingly judicious with him for when he shows up and how long he was gone, for that matter. Like, he had a decent stretch of time where, like, nope, he's done, he's gone. But wait.
Although he may have had some influence, because John did not put Scorpius off the ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, love Harvey so much.
And like, all he does in this episode is basically show up again. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all he needs to do.
He's the perfect cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But there are things we have not yet talked about. For example, are we having part 2 of the Waltz of Chiago?
I love that little headbutt they gave each other. Like, I clapped like a schoolgirl. Very, very excited about that.
Because they definitely they've been having a little bit of chemistry for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a new version of Chiago. That's our word for Chiana and Dargo.
Ah,
Yes.
gotcha.
Our ship name.
The Waltz of Chiago. It's a dance.
That works. Oh, the other thing we didn't mention is we get a little bit of weirdness from Sikozu as she does stuff that she shouldn't be able to do.
Yes, I caught that.
Yes.
She kind of melts a console with her hand.
It was weird. I don't know what's going on there.
We definitely get some interesting bits of Sikozu in this because we finally get to see some of her people.
Yep, her people
the
who are basically just fully subservient to the Scarens.
It's very, speaking of flavors of fascism, it's very interesting. I was telling Sara this in the rewatch, how much more multinational the Scaren Empire is than the Peacekeeper Empire. Like, the Peacekeepers are very monolithic, very whitewashed. And the Scarens are portrayed as, like, there is one Scaren in this episode, but ostensibly we're dealing with the Scarens as an entity when we're interacting with the space station.
Yeah, and they call it the hierarchy.
It's full of other aliens. And so I find that really fascinating.
Well, yeah, it's hierarchical as opposed to monocultural, because like the Peacekeeper flavor is we replace all of you. We have no use for any of you. We should be doing everything. Whereas the Scarens are, I don't know, you can do things, but we are in charge. We are in charge of everyone. You do what we tell you. And we are above everyone. So like, it's the difference between replacing everybody you don't like and holding deadly power of everyone you don't like, as long as they don't step out of line.
It's kind of giving what's like Stalinist Soviet Russia.
I was thinking Spartans in the way that they had different classes of different nations, in fact, enslaved as different roles. They had the one as craftspeople and one as farmers, or in fact, America.
Yeah.
And the English Empire did this as well. The English Empire imported a lot of Desi people from into Africa
Mhm.
at the height of its empire to do the functionary stuff, and to have and to sort of have a divide, an easy divide and rivalry between the Black people and the South Asian people.
Mhm.
We could blame each other and the English, because the English always did the divide and conquer, which the Romans first invented. It's nothing. Every fascist iterates on another fascist.
Yeah.
And
And
it's contrasted against the very Nazi Germany coded peacekeepers.
although even the peacekeepers will bend the rules to make use of people, because
Also like
Scorpius,
Nazi Germany.
yes, yes, they have the aesthetics of uniformity, but reality, and because of course certain kinds of fascists are often most concerned with the aesthetics of something.
And ultimately it's about power. And so whatever in the moment can create or maintain power for the individuals in charge or at the top of the hierarchy or however you want to phrase it, that's what goes.
Yeah.
And so there's a this is my turn for a tangent. There is a frustrating for me, there's a frustrating political dialogue happening in the United States right now where there is an effort to point out the double standards that are in place under the current administration. And something I've something I've learned in my personal life the hard way is that the people who want to maintain control don't see it as a double standard. Because if they're the ones doing it, it is correct. It is the right thing to do. It is the right way that something is done. And so pointing out that double standard means that you're trying to, it, I don't know, it's like trying to talk about uh, a Shakespearean play with somebody who's only ever held a spear and shaken it. Like you think you're talking about the same thing, but you're not remotely talking about the same thing.
Yeah,
And that's my tangent.
it's something I've fully adopted in the last few years, is that and it's one of the reasons why I'm not on Facebook much, because way too many of my liberal friends, like they mean well, but they're like, oh, look at the hypocrisy of what they're doing when they've said this and now they're doing this. And it's like, it infuriates
Yes.
me. It infuriates me as such a waste of time, because like they don't care. They don't, like, the left cares if you call them hypocrites. The right does not. In fact, has never, and even less now than they ever did. They don't care if what they're doing is inconsistent with things they've said, or even are inconsistent with what they are currently saying. They care about getting the results. And if your response to the things that they are doing is to point and go, ooh, that you shouldn't be doing that because you said this, like, okay, you're not helping,
You're not playing the
because
same game.
Yeah,
they are ignoring you because you
Yeah.
are at most a gnat in their ear.
Now,
you are playing Go Fish at a poker tournament.
Yeah.
I will concede that there is a rhetorical value to making any number of the, see how hypocritical they are, see how wrong they are, see how that inconsistent they are, arguments that are not actually targeted at the right, the alt-right, or anybody in the current administration in power. They're targeted at the people whose minds can actually be changed.
I will
Yes.
grant that, but what it doesn't work as is a gotcha.
Yeah.
No,
it's
unquestionably.
it's not a gotcha, but it's like when you say make it make sense, I say where's the power, and it will make sense.
Yeah.
Yes. And the
Yeah.
three of us are all, to varying degrees, educated and well versed in our various philosophies and ideologies. And there are people that voted one way recently that are actually regretting their choices and that are actually like, oh, fuck, it got me. And they're the people that those arguments are for,
Mm-hmm.
not the
Yeah.
administration.
Although, yeah, you can't. Those people you can't approach from an angle of smugness.
Unquestionably
No,
not.
you
Yeah.
can't.
But it can't,
I-
you can't approach with language of, he said this and he did this.
Mm-hmm.
Here you
like
go.
oh boy, I don't want to go too far down this tangent, and I also don't want
Come
to be
on.
the the big depressing downer.
What is a what is a podcast but a series of tangents?
But if someone's going to engage with anyone feeling sincere regret, it cannot be me, because I cannot give grace anymore. I have no more to give, because if you tell me like, well, he said this, but now he's doing the opposite, like, okay, but here's all the other stuff that he said he would do, and you believed him, and it's all terrible, and it's bigoted, and it's racist, and it's misogynistic, and it's transphobic, and it was always going to get people killed. He just happened to break a couple of the things that you wanted him, that you thought he would do or wouldn't do. But there was a whole swath of stuff that he always said he was going to do that you believed he would also do and were okay with.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's no reason to engage with those people. I'm just saying it can't be me. Yeah. I am too old and too fucking angry.
Yeah, you are not required to give grace. There's a thing about like communication theory. I love communication. Actually, it is something you have to think about strategically. And the thing is, you do have to meet people where they're at. But what that actually means, people say that like as a thought-ending cliche, or like to say everybody's got to try and meet the right. No. As far as you can reach, that is your audience.
Yeah.
That is who you speak to. If you can only speak to the choir, then you preach to the choir to rile them up. If you can get people in the door, that's your job. If you can move people down the aisle, that's your job.
Yeah.
There are people who can sit with neo-Nazis and deprogram them. It is an incredible amount of work. It is something that requires a great deal of effort and skill. I do not have that.
Oh no,
I am not going to do that.
Me neither. But like the thing that needs to be remembered about all of this is all of these are tools in the toolbox, but they are only one. Like, is it worth somebody reaching out and trying to make connection with these people? Yes. That can't be the only thing that we do. The rest of us need to do other stuff. And these things need not negate each other, but also don't expect people who cannot deal with that to deal with it.
Yeah, one of my pet peeves is the pundits who are consistently berating the entire, what they perceive as the entire left, for usually the behavior of some teenagers or some very exhausted people who don't have the energy to, and they're like, no, you have to reach across the aisle, and they are determined that they're always so determined that they are right, and they are lecturing everybody on not doing communication perfectly, and communication to what they think is the right target, that we should all be trying, we should all be perfectly on message, and we should all be aiming for deprogramming the fascist boys. Because everybody thinks
myopia is not limited to the right.
Yeah. Because we have all had this like almost virus of societal programming to value young men as the most important audience. and it's something we have to decolonize our own heads from, in order to recognize that actually most of the time talking to each other, building alliances, building community is better. I don't expect that there are a lot of straight men who listen to this podcast. If you do,
what's up, y'all?
you are
you guys.
You are probably very Josh coded, and we like you. But I don't think I don't think we're appealing to many right wingers. I don't think we are overlapping with Joe Rogan's, and I don't care, because hopefully
we're preaching to them.
Yeah, we are hopefully getting some folks. We're hopefully exposing some folks to think a little more about some things they've taken for granted. Maybe have a little more empathy. Or maybe we are, cheering up some of the folks who are exhausted, who are trying to do the work, because that's also important.
Everybody's got to do their part, man. Like for a variety of personal reasons, most of them health related, I have not had the opportunity to fully engage in the last couple of years in the discourse in the way that I fantasize about or in the way that I wish I could. And instead, I have taken the everybody's got to do something approach and bolstered those who do engage wherever I can. I'm the cheerleader right now, and that's what I can give, and that's the best I can give. And as folks are on the
That's
front lines, and it can't be me right now.
that is valid. And if that's what, helps anyone else and gets anything pushed forward, even a tiny amount, then that is something and that is worth doing. Or you know what? Maybe you're just here listening to this podcast for the vomiting Muppets, and that's okay too.
That was the best segue back. But every once in not every once in a while, very often on this podcast, we say, let's start a minor tangent. And then 45 minutes later, somebody comes up with an amazing segue that gets us back on track. That was great, Vera.
That is base. This is
She's a
basically
professional.
this is basically just a visualization of my own brain.
Really, only 3 voices?
I'm simplifying it, but yeah.
Harvey.
I can't even remember how we got onto this tangent, but it's something that I think has been on my brain and has been on a lot of people's brain. But when I was thinking about, there was a comment I had. I was fucking with a troll because it was hot and I was bored. Usually I block them all, but it was hot and I was bored, and so I was fucking with him by basically doing it is a odd choice for you to be engaging with media you don't like. But it was talking about my video I made 3 years ago about Pleasantville. And they just really, really hated Pleasantville, and they were on continuously trying to get me to debate with them about how everybody excludes, everybody on the end acts. You wanted to you politely asking me, suggesting that I might want to leave, is the same as racist people. I'm like, I tried my best not to take the bait at all, but I was offended when they suggested I was the tolerant left, and then I lost the don't engage with the troll game. But
they got you.
I'm not the tolerant left.
Edit this part out so nobody learns your trigger word.
I have a few, but yeah, no. What I was thinking was on their response that they're sort of like trying to bait me into like everybody excludes is like, that's like a cannibal saying everybody eats. The context and the content matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tolerant. I have a literal weapon rack right over there. I'll show you how freaking tolerant I am.
But I do know my role as the emotional support Canadian, who's not actually having to face this shit. And Vera's right. We should get back on track.
For the record, my fellow Americans, get yourself an emotional support Canadian. It helps a lot.
But you better have your elbows up for us. Yes. So brain, work, function, ADHD. Trying to get back on track. What haven't we talked about yet?
Not much else.
I think we've hit most of it.
We were talking a bit about the Kalish as functionaries and what we learn about Sakozu in this episode. And her she's sort of doing a bit of a Chiana with the I shall flirt to achieve my ends.
And she gets a bit of the Chiana at the end of the episode too.
And like the other thing worth noting about when she does her little melt the console thing, she also kind of hides that. Like she kind of does it in a way, hoping Dargo doesn't see it, and he's like, "What did you just do?" And she's like, "Oh, no, it shorted out." So whatever that was,
I caught
whatever
that.
that was, she ain't sharing it.
Mm-hmm. Very, very sneaky. And the other thing about Sikozu is she is very, very sad that Scorpius got nabbed.
Yeah, because the brat's dom is gone.
I have the tiny violin is slightly larger than the one I have for Nurse Schlafly.
Yeah, but it is very much the brat doesn't have her leather daddy anymore, and yeah.
So yeah, it is an excellent episode. It is wonderful to see that they get Aeryn free, because
thank goodness.
As fascinating as the story is, I think it's time to stop with the violence against women. We were talking a lot with Aeryn about the ethics of portraying violence against women, and yes, the show makes the effort to do it in to show what is necessary and not over exploit. But also, I'm glad they stopped, because that was enough.
Yeah.
In general, they do a really good job on the show of not dragging out storylines that I feel like a lot of other shows would drag out.
Yeah, and we don't need her to be damseled.
Yeah, no. Definitely not. Which, is one of the things that I actually appreciate about a lot of the characters on Farscape, but Aeryn's a really good example in this case. Almost everybody has been captured at some point and had to be rescued. Yeah. But very few of them ever felt like that was a damseling.
Mm-hmm. Or there's a mutual damseling that balances out eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gender neutral damseling.
Scorpius is now the damsel.
Yeah, exactly true. Put him up in the high tower. See how he looks in the purple dress.
See if he can let his leather tails down.
Those things are long as hell.
Scorpio, right? Scorpio, let down your rods.
No, John, insert the rod. Insert the rod, John.
The subtext is rapidly becoming text.
Bite my thumb, John. Bite it.
Oh God, yeah, that we got the glimpse of that in the previously on.
Yes.
The not at all sexual, totally heterosexual.
Look, don't get me wrong. I appreciate how much explicit, representation for, attractions and sexualities and everything that we get in much more modern media. There's part of me that misses when it was barely subtext, though. There's something fun about okay, they can't actually say it, but boy, are they going to make it painfully obvious all the same. And I feel like that's something that's kind of been lost to time, because it's now we live in a time where, depending on the studio that's backing it, you either can't even hint at it or you are expected to do it flat out. And there's this fun, it's like looking back at the at all the gay coded characters from previous decades and shit like Disney movies, and being like, they just kind of have them be gay now, don't they? That was fun. I understand why we moved on from it. It was fun, though, wasn't it?
Hey, that would make a good video.
Yeah, maybe the best gay subtext of the 90s and 2000s.
Well, the specifically the way that coding, the limitations of things like coding, actually provides a really interesting challenge. And because we were talking about that, I have in our little creator community, I run a Friday night movie, which we've been going through fun campy movies, because it's just this is me being the emotional support Canadian and trying to keep the Americans amused and alive. and I can't remember which one it was that we were watching. Oh, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. We were having so much fun with that one, and
they're so gay in that. It's ridiculous.
Yep. and just the fun you can have when you can't actually say something outright, but you can totally, but you got to find 1,000,001 ways to say it anyway.
Yeah.
And that one's a good one of those. As is Another one we were enjoying that with was Little Shop of Horrors, and just how trans and gendery that one is.
Yeah, actually, in a few ways. I think the one that falls into that the most, at least that I've seen recently, and that is coming to the top of my head. Have you ever seen Ralph Bakshi's Fire and Ice?
I have not.
So this is. Do you know who Ralph Bakshi is?
Yeah, no. He's the animator, right?
Yeah, he is a bonkers human being who is also an animator. He did Wizards, he did Fritz the Cat, he did Heavy Traffic, he did the animated Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh yes, that's fun.
He did Cool World. Man's out of his mind. Man is completely out of his mind. But in the 80s, he did this rotoscoped animated movie called Fire and Ice, which is a fantasy film based off of Frank Frazetta paintings. So, and Frank Frazetta, like sort of the classic Conan, like, big, overly muscled with a woman draped on him. Yeah, that's Frank Frazetta. So Ralph Bakshi made this movie, and the villain is the gayest man that has ever existed, to the point that when his mother presents him with the required damsel of the story, he looks at this woman was like, ugh. Like, he could not be more disgusted that he's just been offered a woman. And then later on, when the hero shows up, who is naturally in a loincloth and shirtless, he just gets the biggest grin on his face that this man has walked into his chamber. Now he still intends to kill him, within the narrative, but it's like, dude. I remember the first time I saw that movie, like, this is by far the gayest straight movie I've seen in a while. and it's not good. It's not good by any objective measure, but it's also kind of amazing. It is exploitative, but to that degree that is so shameless it's almost respectable, because it's not even pretending to not be. It's kind of like,
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. It's kind of like those moments of like, I'm not saying what you're doing is good, but you are doing it with full awareness of what you're doing and no apologies. And I kind of respect that.
With gusto.
I think our next one is supposed to be Barbarella, but I will put that on the list.
Barbarella's fun too. That's
the kind of thing we've been. Yeah. Because there is something that, like, a limitation challenges your creativity.
Oh yeah,
and that's not to say the Hays Code was in any way good.
Oh no. When it's that level of enforced,
just putting that out there.
Yeah, when it's that level of enforced, it's never good.
We condemn the Hays Code.
Yeah, like, I understand. What I'm saying is, like, that we've lost a silver lining, not necessarily a better thing. Like, the reason that we got all this stuff was because of stuff that shouldn't have been going on, but it was still a thing. And, like, I've pointed out repeatedly with more than a few things that I've done over the years, like, you can tell when creators have had the restrictions taken off them, and so they can just drive their ambitions off as many cliffs as they want. Like, that is George Lucas and the prequels. That is Zack Snyder and Rebel Moon or Sucker Punch. It's just like, nobody told these people no, and boy, somebody should have.
J.K. Rowling and every book after the third one.
That God, they stopped editing her. And we don't even need to get into what a horrible human being she is. Just like, they stopped editing her after the third book, and you can tell.
Yep, you can absolutely tell. And she keeps using the same phrases over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Editors.
Restrictions and feedback and critique are amazing. Like, I can point to multiple moments, aspects, and adjustments I did to my own novel based off feedback from beta readers and or my editors that made it better.
Mm-hmm.
It's this ridiculous idea of like, oh, but the thing in my head is pure and amazing. No, the thing in your head is a single person's vision, and if you got another angle on it, maybe it would work for more people than just you.
All art is collaborative.
There you go.
Well, we have had some fun tangents on this one. Usually at this point, I would be telling Josh if he was ready to hear the title of the next episode, but I goofed up talking about mistakes. Somehow, I managed to only do it once in the history of the podcast, but I gave Josh the wrong title for this episode.
So I already know the title of the next episode.
So yes, you already know the title of the next episode is Hot to Katratzi.
Hot to Katratzi. Which I'm looking forward to pun titles.
Oh, apparently in the UK, these episodes are only known by the subtitles because the "We're So Screwed." They objected to "We're So Screwed."
Why?
I don't know. But actually, next episode will not only be will not only be Hot to Katratzi. We have the second part as well, but I will not tell you the second part because it's a bit of it kind of would spoil the third part. Yes, this is the first part. We're going to watch the second and third as a unit. We're going to discuss them as a unit. We are going to be joined by our most regular contributors, Mandy and Ren, together.
Ooh.
As a big mega discussion of this penultimate episode, and also, inshallah, knock on wood, etc., for the very last episode, we should be joined by Jesse Gender.
Yay!
And then we will be we have a plan to do a actually live watch along of the mini-series and invite all of our previous guests to join us for the watch along if they have time.
I hope I do, because I like it. I like it a lot.
A big old Farscape party send off, basically.
Yes. So we may have a very, very special guest if things work out, inshallah, knock on wood, etc. So, with that being said, what is your favorite part of this episode, Vera?
I mean, it's Harvey coming back. It has to be. Like
I am utterly shocked and just amazed. I never could have guessed that.
From me, I like. There's a lot of good in this episode. There was a lot of good in this episode, but like, I cannot, in sincerity, give you any other answer.
It's a good one, Josh.
Other than Harvey's return, which was amazing, I am also going with Naranti and Rigel's last scene together.
Both excellent choices, and that was going to be mine if you didn't choose it, but I think I will go with Aeryn and John reunited, and when she realizes that he really is him.
Yeah. That one got me.
That was one thing we didn't really touch on, is that because she's drugged and sedated, she's kind of having these visions of John being there. And so when she actually gets rescued, she has this moment of, are you real? Is this real?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I love a good love story, and this is one of the best.
See, here's the thing. I am so frequently anti-romantic subplots, but I do love these two because you know what? They took their freaking time and earned it.
It would go on for another hour, but you and I should have like a little collaboration where we discuss what good, and where we discuss the whole love story thing, because I know you don't like them. I like them, but I only like them when they're good. So we should have a discussion at some point. We should have a little, not a debate because it's not, but we should have a little like,
discourse
symposium about about love stories and love subplots.
I'd be down for that.
If we can both make our ADHD brains work and schedule something. I am doing a whole, like, been doing my own, like, kind of researchy thing on what I think makes love stories work. And John and Aeryn, like, the thing they have the main two things to make a good one and a healthy one at that, is that they see one another clearly and allow each other to see the other one, and they make each other better. And so, like, the moment of Aeryn recognizing that she really sees John and that it is John is just, it's a lovely bit of it's just acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite part. Okay. Thank you, Vera, so much for joining us. Would you like, you are very, very good at this part. You want to take the take the self-promotion?
Sure. So, two main things that you can look for to find my stuff. There is the geeky stuff I already mentioned, Council of Geeks. My main YouTube channel, there are new videos every single Saturday. The Patreon is what mostly pays my bills, but the YouTube is the main thing that funds. There's also the Break Room of Geeks, which is my secondary channel, which is looser review content where I talk about whatever I have watched, listened to, played, or read lately. And you can also find Council of Geeks on Blue Sky. I also have several written works that are available. I have Skirting Gender, which has Vera Wylde listed as the author. I have When She Wakes, which is a play, which has Vera Wylde listed as the author. And I also have my fantasy novel, Dreams of Fire, which has Nathaniel Wayne listed as the author. It's okay. It's not a dead name. I'm not dysphoric about it. Don't sweat it. But this is available, yes, from Amazon, but you can also get it from your local bookstore or library through Ingram. You don't have to know what that means. They will. There is also an audiobook version available, currently only through Audible. I need to get it up some other places, but currently available through Audible. And that is the geeky and creative stuff. There is, of course, also
the naughty stuff.
There's the spicy stuff. And if you
those
look
my Nosferatu fingernails.
If you look for Vera Wylde spelled Wylde, the most pretentious way I possibly could, you will find increasingly spicy content on YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, OnlyFans, many vids, clips for sale, and Pornhub, just to completely give the game away of just how spicy it gets.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram. Like,
from the spiciest spice to
Vera,
well, you do eat spice, but you're not very spicy, are you, sweetie?
Well, listen, my wife's in the other room, but like, Vera, you're probably the most well-credentialed guest out of our usual rotation that we have on the show. I don't often feel quite so like, yeah, I'm just Josh. But that was a fantastic resume.
This is yet again the result of ADHD. I cannot do only one thing. My brain will not let me.
But I am on Instagram. I'm at Josh Gosdin. My profile is largely geared around things that have helped me over the years, including cooking and self-care. So come on over. It's a good time. We just kind of hang out and check in on each other. Sara?
Yeah, and those are important things. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Fat Culture Critic videos on YouTube. I'm trying to be more productive, and thankfully it is cooling down because my brain does not work in the heat. But I did just release a video. Will be a couple weeks from ago by the time this is released. But I did a video with a bit of a very personal rant and ramble about the problems I had with the 4.5 Vulcan episode of Strange New Worlds.
I ain't looking forward to that one.
Because just like there is some bad fat joke stuff
on top of everything else. Like, just from the clip I've seen, I'm already terrified of this episode.
Yeah, and as a mixed race person, it is just a you need. I suggest you watch on some kind of altered substance, perhaps, Vera, because it is just the cringe is going to kill you.
Have fun.
and then there is beneath the cringe, there is the oops, we did a eugenics. Which Jesse has covered admirably. But in my video, I just made as a bit of a yes and because just as a mixed race person, there was some things to talk about. But I'm working on a couple other things, and I really appreciate our dear friend Ren actually edited that for me so that I could go spend the day at the museum with my nibblings, which was really nice. Okay, anyway, so yeah, you can find my stuff at the Fat Culture Critic and also on Blue Sky. The links, as always, are in the doobly-doo. You can comment on this video if you want to tell us your thoughts on any of the stuff we've been rambling about or the episode itself, or, we always enjoy your comments, and hopefully we'll have, I'll definitely make another opportunity for us to talk about comments before we finish the show. And
we got you guys, don't worry.
You can email us at the email address, and you can always join our Patreon to see Josh and I react to the episodes.
And join our Patreon also, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see my many nonverbal contributions to these various things.
We have some ideas about what we might do next, both separately and together. So we'll can't believe we're almost at the end of this. But we are.
It's been a long road getting from there to here.
You might say. Might require some faith in the heart.
There it is.
Anyway, that is us. So thank you once again, Vera, for joining us. We have appreciated every time you stopped in to join us. You've been a great addition. And
absolutely.
I love talking about this show. So I'm you guys are great. And so I'm more than happy to do it.
So with that, we will say goodbye for now.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Be seeing you. So, like, my family lineage goes back to the goddamn Mayflower. So my lineage is legit responsible for all of this. So, like, I'll suck that up. I'll no, fine, fair.
Well, but my English heritage was a lot of people who were colonizing India, so.
My English heritage was unfortunately just straight up English heritage. It was exactly what it said on the tin, and they were all bastards.
I've got English and Spanish, so I've been everywhere, man.
I have the tiniest sliver of Egyptian, only because a sailor got
Habibi.
lost.
Your family.
You're one of us.
No, we will make tea and argue about hummus.
Honestly, I don't get as much as I used to. I think just because, I think a lot of, kind of clusters of dickheads have realized that I just delete their comments and don't respond.
Mm.
Clusters of dickheads sounds like the worst bouquet of flowers ever.
The clusters of dickheads who are all, I'm sure, subscribers to Bunch of Numbers University.
Oh, yes, obviously.